Tonight on Weazel News, shame in the Sheriff's Department. Disgraced Sheriff's deputy put on 2-day suspension for sexual misconduct in the workplace.
Of course, I'm sure you know, Sheriff Wallace, the reason that we're here. I think Deputy Murdoch told you it is about the suspension of Assistant Sheriff Pierce Hardy.
Yes.
Can you give us an official statement on his suspension?
Well, the reason was put in the suspension, and Sheriff Hardy got suspended, as we would any deputy, as a result of an IR report.
And I think a few of us had questions about timeline. Is 2 days typical to suspend a member of the Sheriff's Department for these reasons? Inappropriate sexual comments, putting someone's life in danger, and the other items listed on the report.
The reasoning has been updated after the fact. It was a little bit extreme what was put there. But it's not the time of the suspension that matters. It's the fact that he was suspended, given his role in the Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, for the sake of continuity. Yeah, for the sake of continuity, can you go through what he was actually suspended for the camera?
We can't go into details, I'm afraid.
That's understandable.
As this was an IR report and they're confidential, we can't go into details. However, the reasons were publicly stated in an effort for transparency on his suspension notice. So you can take those as they are.
All right.
For the length of the suspension, there is no guideline on length of suspensions. This is usually one of the more severe punishments that we give out after taking their pay and, stopping their progression in certain divisions.
All right. Another question here. We believe the sheriff that met with us outside was unaware of his suspension. Is it normal to not make your Sheriff's Department aware of said suspensions? And
who was not aware of the suspension?
Deputy Murdoch is not a supervisor. It's relevant to him.
Thank you. We do not announce suspensions to each and everyone. We make a public notice, and then they can go and read that as they read through the internal mails.
Next question. Besides the suspension, is there plans to have, any additional training as far as sexual harassment in the workplace and against civilians, or is the suspension pretty much the end of the line here?
We do, however, see this as done. Suspension was the outcome of the investigation itself, so the investigation is concluded, and there is nothing more to expect from our side.
All right.
Sexual harassment is not something that is present in the Sheriff's Department, especially not between its staff. And if something like that does come up, then we will make sure to clamp down on it very harshly and very fastly. I believe the suspension itself is a lot of commitment. It shows the public that everyone is treated equally in the Sheriff's Department and no one can evade investigation and punishment for their actions. The Sheriff's Department does not stop punishing people just because they progress through the ranks. We expect excellence for each and every one of our employees, and if they do not deliver that, we'll be quick to make a judgment.
All right, thank you very much. This has been Miss Molly DeVille and Colt Thompsonson signing off.
You have a few minutes to talk to me and Colt. This is Colt here. He is our newest reporter, and we just wanted to see if you wanted to talk about the suspension that you received.
I'm not going to lie, I've come here in a little bit of frustration. I mean, I was at home after working, and I was fast asleep, and I've had nothing but constant streams of messages after receiving your little announcement that's gone.
Oh, I understand how that can be extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with all of this because of the IA investigation.
Well, it's because of you putting out a news announcement, isn't it? I mean...
Sir, we are sorry that you are having to face the repercussions of your actions.
If you're going to cut me off like this in an interview, then, I'm going to give you...
All right, go ahead.
I am here out of a courtesy to you, not, anything... Right, should we get this underway? I'm not going to be on camera, am I? If I am, I better go and change.
We want to talk to you about the suspension that you received. do you want to give us an official statement regarding suspension and the breach of policies?
Well, I think first of all, the details of the suspension are written in the suspension notice.
I didn't know if you wanted to say your side of the story or apologize to the city of Los Santos and the sheriff's department for your conduct.
Well, the detail on the suspension notice, as I just said, and I mean, I'm not at liberty to disclose anything further to an internal affairs investigation, just like any of my colleagues are bound by the same rule. So I'm afraid if you're looking for some sort of desperate cry that I've been how do I say, that I've been wronged by the process, then I'm afraid I would disappoint.
You definitely do not believe that the IA report conducted any errors during the investigation. I have
I'm
full
sure you did.
faith that they investigated fairly and came up with a fair decision.
What I do find interesting actually is how you pick up on this suspension and the reasons, but what you don't note is my 4 years in law enforcement, nearly 5 years now of successful, I would say fairly successful career. Thousands of arrests. I think I'm still the only person that's ever been in the investigations bureau that has successfully had those found to be in a criminal organization put in jail indefinitely.
See, and that's
Indefinitely.
exactly...
There is no mention of
exactly-
anything like this. I've never seen it in the news, but here we are nitpicking my 2 errors in this suspension note.
We definitely don't want it to look like a slam campaign against you.
Well, you know, we're human. We make mistakes, and this was, in the view of the Internal Affairs Division, clearly a mistake. One that I have apologized for to them, and you know, now I'm writing out the time.
What would you say to the people to reaffirm them of their trust in our police units and our law enforcement here in the city?
The investigation's complete. The outcome has happened, and now the repercussions of such investigation are being, you know, is taking place. I'm taking the 2 days off work, suspended with no pay, and that is the punishment that's being deemed by the Internal Affairs Department. Due to the internal affairs process, I can't disclose, you know, first of all, who the person was or what discussions I've had with them. My
would be a good
apology
look.
is, you know, to the sheriff's department. I think my statistics speak for themselves. I've been suspended twice in my whole 5-year tenure. You know, thousands of arrests. I've helped countless lives, and I aim and will continue to do my job in upholding the law and protecting those that need protecting, and supporting those that need support.
All right, then from myself and the rest of us here at Weazel News, we would like to thank you for your time today and say a thank you to the Sheriff's Department for keeping this city safe.